My company got rid of bonus incentive to work on holidays. Is mad nobody worked on their holidays. The company I work for does this thing where, to win clients, they base all their contracts around real days and not business days. This means that we need staff on site 7 days a week and on all holidays to stay on top of turnaround times and avoid late penalties. However, this is skilled white-collar STEM work that requires a solid foundation in biology and chemistry. They need to offer weekends off and paid holidays at a minimum to be competitive with other employers in the industry. So for years, they offered a 2 times overtime rate for weekend hours. And if you worked on your paid holiday, you'd get full holiday pay, plus 3 times overtime for all hours worked. Shortly before Christmas, HR sent an email stating that, effective immediately, there would no longer be a holiday incentive. Said, paid holidays are an extra benefit meant for you to have time to relax. If you choose to work any hours on a paid holiday, you forfeit the holiday hours. And as a reminder, overtime is only after 40 hours of actual work. Working on your regularly scheduled day will not count. I got in this morning to find an email from my management team saying they were surprised and disappointed that only 2 people volunteered to work on December 25th and 26th. And that nobody worked January 1st or 2nd, despite multiple requests for volunteers. Because nobody was willing to be team players, the company now stands to lose close to a 6-figure amount in penalties for missed turnaround times. Oh well, so sad. You only get as much loyalty as you're willing to pay for. Now for the top comments. Just so I understand, working on a holiday was unpaid? Totally unpaid, not even straight time? They used to offer an extremely generous overtime incentive to work holidays. Now, you can either take the holiday pay and stay home, or get paid your regular wage and work. No overtime, no bonus. If you work at all on the holiday, you forfeit the entire holiday pay. So if you wanted to be nice and just work a half day to pitch in, you'd actually lose money. So basically, your options are to work a full shift for a normal day of pay, work a partial shift and use your vacation time to make up the difference, or stay home and still get a normal day of pay. It was, for some reason, surprising to them that literally everyone chose the option that meant normal money and no work. Nobody was willing to be team players. Their job on the team was to pay the rest of the team to do the work. Let's think again about who wasn't a team player. You have to pay the players. If you don't pay them, they won't show up. Teamwork makes the dream work, if you pay them. Why is it every time they try to save money, they end up costing themselves more money? Because not paying staff is an immediate saving. They don't care about looking at the numbers a month later. Very sustainable. Them, holidays are for you to stay home and relax. Also them, WTF, everyone stayed home and relaxed on the holidays. Make it make sense. The cynical part of me thinks they're laying the groundwork to get rid of paid holidays as a benefit. Come Labor Day, they'll point to this as justification. Yikes, that's absurd. I work in an environmental analytical lab, but we get decent options to make sure we can catch hold times over the holidays. They, new corporate overlords, asked us to split up Christmas Eve and the day after, and that worked out for us. People with kids wanted the eve off. I wanted a long weekend. We have someone who comes in on weekends sometimes who can catch things if we're really slammed, and a general atmosphere of the client shouldn't have dropped it off with less than a day of hold time right before holidays. My department is also very good about cross-training and being able to cover people using PTO without too much pain. I'd be dusting off your CV and speaking to a recruiter ASAP, just in case. With skills in biochem, something better is out there. The hunt for something new started a while ago. I've got my sights set on relocating to a new state, so that adds some challenge, but there are definitely opportunities I'm pursuing. Next story. I quit my job after they refused to promote me. They are now hiring 3 people to replace me for almost double the cost. Feeling vindicated and annoyed today. Long story short, I quit my job last week. I left because the workload is insane. I'm constantly taken advantage of. The leadership team is a joke, and they refuse to give me a raise. Even though I do the jobs of multiple people, have had nothing but glowing performance reviews and have been told that the company would not exist without me since I helped support the company through a god-awful time. I digress. They begged me to stay, pleaded. I said no. Now they're scrambling to fill the gap. I get an email asking me to review the new job descriptions. They are hiring 3 people to replace me and the work I'm currently doing. The duties for the one job I'm doing now were dispersed over 3 different job descriptions. Honestly, good for them for realizing one person cannot do it alone. But I'm not going to lie, it feels pretty freaking validating to see that they need 3 people to fill my one job. As vindicated as I feel, I also feel ashamed that I went on as long as I did, putting up with all this BS and doing the jobs of 3 people at once. They also could have saved themselves a heck of a lot of money by just giving me the raise I asked for. Edit. A lot of people seem to be confused about me reviewing the job descriptions. I quit last week, but I gave a 2-week notice. I am still employed by the company, and they asked me to review the descriptions as part of my everyday work. For those saying that me reviewing the descriptions will contribute to new employees joining a toxic workplace, these roles are going to be filled either way. People will take them. I'm not some snake leading vulnerable people to the company because I edited a job description. Now, if any prospective employee reaches out to me about my time there and why I left, I will be brutally honest and tell them to run far away. I've also already left negative Glassdoor and Indeed reviews. I'm doing what I can do. This is a cautionary tale for everybody. Act your wage, and you won't get tasked with more work. Yep, learned this the hard way. Thankfully, I'm still a young professional, so I'm grateful to have had the opportunity to learn this now rather than later. How does the total salary of the 3 jobs compare to your pay? I won't use the actual numbers, but here is the gist. I'm making $90,000. I asked for a raise to $95,000. They declined, saying that my ask didn't fit their pay ladder given my level of education. The new positions pay as follows: one $50,000 role and 2 $60,000 roles equaling to about $170,000. Also, these positions will be brutally underpaid, sadly. Safe to say they should have just given me that raise. They finally offered it to me when I said I was done. Classic. But I realized it just wasn't worth it. To give more detail, don't ever become irreplaceable at work. If you are doing 3 people's work, why would they ever want to promote you? They would have to hire 3 people to replace you. They will bend over backward to keep you where you are. I've learned this the hard way several times. You're right, thank you for sharing this. I really needed to hear this. I will be approaching my next position very differently. And they want you to review your replacements? Only if they pay you a consultation fee. Nothing for free, my friend. Oh, I'm definitely not sticking around for the hiring process. They just wanted me to look at the written job descriptions. I'm leaving at the end of the year, and after that, they are getting nothing from me. Next story. Management denies basic leave and then acts shocked when people quit. I'm a project manager at a software organization, and I honestly still can't fully process what just happened this week. We're a mid-sized team, with 5 developers working closely with me on a major UI revamp. It's a big effort, lots of refactoring, redesigns, and last-minute adjustments. And, as usual, the timelines are tight. About a month ago, during festival season, a few developers requested time off. Nothing unusual or unreasonable. One wanted leave for his wedding anniversary. Another asked for a time off for his child's first birthday. A couple of others simply wanted to go home and spend time with their families during the holidays. Management's response was a flat-out no. The justification was that the goal for the new UI changes wasn't completed yet. There was no flexibility, no discussion, no attempt at compromise, just a hard refusal. Deadlines over everything. At the time, it already felt wrong. These weren't frivolous requests, they were important life moments. But leadership treated them as inconveniences. Unfortunately, that was only the beginning. Not long after that decision, 2 of the developers quietly started interviewing. They both received offers from another company and resigned properly, following their contracts to the letter. They submitted formal resignations and agreed to serve the standard 30-day notice period. Everything was clean, professional, and by the book. Fast forward to today. Their last working day is tomorrow, Thursday. Out of nowhere, HR stepped in and announced that their notice periods were being extended by another 30 days. No advance warning, no clear contractual clause explained, just pressure, emotional manipulation, and vague language about business needs. It was painfully obvious what was happening. Leadership suddenly realized the team was falling apart and tried to trap people who had already made plans to leave. These developers have new jobs lined up. Their exits are planned. Their lives are already moving forward. And now they're being told at the very last minute that they can't go. As the PM sitting in the middle of all this, I feel genuinely sick. This is how you destroy morale. This is how you guarantee that no one ever trusts leadership again. First, you deny leave for weddings, anniversaries, and a child's first birthday. Then when people finally decide they've had enough, you try to hold them hostage when they resign. What's worse is that leadership still frames this behavior as commitment and ownership. But this isn't dedication. It's not loyalty. It's unethical behavior dressed up as company policy. The developers are still leaving tomorrow. HR can shout all they want. But this situation has made one thing painfully clear to me as well. If this is how engineers are treated, project managers aren't special. We're not protected. We're just as replaceable when it's convenient for leadership. The system is broken, and it's exhausting to watch good people get screwed for doing absolutely nothing wrong. Why don't these guys just leave? I thought a contract can't be changed without both parties agreeing. They are. They've already resigned and are walking. HR is just posturing and trying to scare them on the way out, but you can't extend a notice period. They can extend the contract 30 years. The employees don't have to honor it. Exactly. It's mad. If I were you or the others working there, I would be gone the second I had another offer. They will absolutely treat you like crap the second they can. They deserve to have the whole team fold and walk because of this BS. The implication that they can just keep extending contracts on people who are already leaving against their will, or even after that person acted in good faith within the 30-day window, and retroactively change their position like that, is so ballsy. I would love to have a follow-up to this to see what kind of whining results. Good luck to you all. Yeah, the audacity is wild. Watching them panic and try to rewrite reality in real time has been something. If there's fallout, I'll definitely update. Last story. Reported my workplace to OSHA. Here's what happened. Last time I posted on this sub, it was to vent about the low pay and general dickheadery of my workplace. I still work there. Considering the job market is the way it is, the company continues to be hell-bent on making work miserable. General background: this company is a multi-billion-dollar international retailer with in-house repair. Something, the largest blah 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 in the world. Current revenue is around $7 billion, and they're working to become an industry monopoly. As such, anyone above a single location level is an ass. I am part of in-house repair. Specific background: our new manager, Jack, gained his new rung on the ladder about 6 months ago. Capital M manager, because he's managing other managers, so he's a head manager. And his head is appropriately inflated to go with that promotion. What's it inflated with? Hot steaming corporate sucker juice. Of late, we've been subjected to visits where he tells us all about how there's gonna be changes around here. And when pressed to expand on those changes, it's either nothing good or nothing at all. Educational opportunities and new bonus rates, fake incentives. Recently, Jack was on a soapbox about his economic theory, asserting with absolute confidence that the company can't just raise everyone's pay because that will cause the price of everything to go up. Everyone is nodding and pretending to listen, and I say nothing, because I don't want to draw attention to myself as being better educated than he thought. I'm not a fool. He's prepping everyone for a crappy raise when merit raises come around this year. Now, with the cost of living in this area being roughly $19 per hour full-time for a single adult with no kids, MIT calculator, our wages are already too low. I make $17.40, and the rank below me makes $15. Most jobs in this area start around $15 and rarely exceed $17. However, we work in a position that is classified as a trade, meaning it's skilled labor. A local plumber makes roughly $25 per hour, so we are quite underpaid. This company complains bitterly about how they can't keep employees. Big surprise. We are underpaid without justification, but moving on. We had a piece of equipment break down. Expensive equipment with dangerous electric and photonic components. We told Jack, and he said to call the company that made it. The technician made the mistake of telling us to fix it ourselves. The mistake was that this opened our machine and an entire can of worms to research, which led to some interesting discoveries on my part about what this machine could do to an unwary tamperer. Cancer, blindness, death by electrocution. OSHA also knew all of this, and they were overjoyed to hear from me, as our company has many of these machines in many locations that are certainly in violation of the same safety laws. Cue Jack coming for an unplanned visit, looking like death had dialed the wrong number. I guess he thought it was all roses and sunshine from here on out, but something tells me all the managers on the rungs above him are a little shaken. In 30 days, I am meant to report back to OSHA about the status of these violations, and I most certainly will. And yes, I did put my name on the report. I've been a top performer in the area more than once, and I want them to know it was me. Report your workplace to OSHA. We have so little power as workers these days, so make as much noise as possible. Good on you, but listen carefully. Start keeping a daily log of events at work. They are going to look for ways to retaliate. Jack seems dumb enough to do it stupidly, but if your HR is halfway competent, they'll find a better way. So start documenting what happens at work, especially interactions with management. If a manager halfway alludes to, "We're a family," and family keeps problems in the house, document it. If your schedule changes from its norm, ask why and document it. This isn't about keeping your job. It's about proving retaliation after you get fired. I know my job is toast within 6 months, and I'm okay with that. I'm saving everything and keeping it all together. Oh, he already said that line. Also noted for future reference. My canary in the coal mine is that I am up for a promotion, and if that disappears, I will have a good indicator of where things stand and how quickly they're moving. If anything worth an update happens, I'll update this post. Union plumbers in Chicago make over $60 on the check, plus another $40 in benefits. Your whole area is massively underpaid. You're in a skilled trade. You should organize. I mean, the company hates you already. Might as well finish them off. It's on my to-do list. Wages are miserable here. We aren't an essential trade, so I wouldn't expect plumber levels of pay, but $20 an hour starting does not seem like a high bar to me. Are they in violation of any fire codes? You call the fire marshal and they get shut down immediately. OSHA is good, but fire marshals are stone cold and hit fast and hard. Might save that for later. I'm certain we're in violation of fire code too.